And we're back. Hello. Technical difficulties, but we're back. Yes, I'm here with my cute little blankie. And today we are going to talk about basically, breaking up and also not settling. So this was inspired because I was watching a TikTok. It was about Kourtney Kardashian and her engagement, and they basically showed a clip of her on her show, and she was watching Titanic, and she was talking about, oh, my life has no romance. I just wish that there was like romance in my life, and this is just, beautiful that people experience this. And Scott basically said, people aren't like this in real life. Like, these are actors. This is a movie. Blah blah blah. And basically, she was talking about, I'll just stay, here and watch this and just, pretend that there's romance in my life. And then it shows a clip of like Travis and his proposal and just like everything that she's experiencing now. And it really inspired me because I feel like my life has been very similar to that. And so it also reminds me of advice that I was given, which I feel like a lot of people, when you're in situations like this, you don't want to hear the advice. But one second, I'm gonna get through this video. But from one woman who has gone through something very similar, I definitely think the advice is worth listening to. I'm so sorry. It looks like I have a bird's nest on my head. And that advice is, if the person you're with is saying you're asking for too much, you're asking the wrong person. I know that's hard to hear. And I guess I should preface all this by saying, just because I'm married, I'm not a relationship expert. I only know what I've been through and, what I've obviously like experienced or heard about, but I'm not claiming to be a relationship expert, a marriage expert, none of that. I'm just a woman who is married and who's been through some things. But this advice was given to me, and I remember hearing it. My reaction was just like, you don't know, like that was your situation. You don't know, but they did know, and they were right. And it was also something that I see a lot on TikTok, just like, different stories, very similar to mine, of women who say they move on or they moved on and they got what they were looking for, proving that they weren't asking for too much. So I will share a little bit of my story, just how I've known my husband for 10 years now, but it was like a situation where I was interested in someone else, and I kind of just like had my heart set on that. I'm like, this is what I want. This is what it is. And I knew that there was something about my husband, not my husband at the time, obviously, but I knew there was something about him because like I wanted him around, and like I wanted to talk to him. I wanted like that connection with him. But I also, like, I had my heart and my mind set on another situation. And I remember like that situation was just, looking back, hindsight always, right? But looking back, I'm like, it was not the best situation for me. I was not thriving. I wasn't, developing into my best self. And I remember I would seek advice from everybody, which don't recommend that either, but I would seek advice from anybody who would listen to me talk about this. And some advice that I'd get though from older women who I'm close to, they'd say, if you're asking for something and this person won't do it, you're asking the wrong person. And to me, instead of taking that advice, I took it as like, oh, I'm just asking for too much, or oh, maybe this, maybe this is a lot to ask, or maybe I should be more considerate. Kind of was just like putting it all on me, and like it ravaged my self-esteem and self-worth because I felt like, okay, like, I don't know what I was asking for, but like, I don't know, somebody who would buy me flowers or something. Really just like let it convince me I was asking for too much, which I wasn't. You're never, I mean, I guess you could ask for too much, but what is too much? Too much is relative, you know? So like I said, I really just started like, okay, you know, it is what it is in this situation. I'm just going to, you know, be grateful, and not ask for too much. Then I remember actually having a conversation with this person, and he distinctly told me, he said, I'm not a romantic kind of guy. Like, I'm not Prince Charming. I'm not going to do all of that stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, you know, you're better off talking to someone else. And you would think at that point I'd get it, right? But I didn't. But looking back, the woman I am now, I'm like, okay, alert, alert, alert. Like if another person came to me and told me that their partner or someone they're talking to or interested in said that, I'd be like, okay, it's time to go. They mean that. That is one thing I've learned. When people tell you something, you take it as at face value. If that's what you say, that's what you mean. And I feel like that conversation, I don't really hold on to a lot of what happened in that situation. But that conversation sticks out to me because I feel like that was a point. There were several points where I should have walked away, but that was a point where I should have walked away, because right then and there, even if it was in a way that was brash and harsh, you know, he was telling me, this is who I am. I am not willing to change that. And if this is not what you're okay with, if you want more, you should go seek that. Eventually, things just got really bad and things just weren't really changing. I think I was coming to a point in my life where I was just like, okay, like, what is this? What are we gonna do? What is gonna happen? Like, because it felt like we were just kind of in a standstill. And I remember we had a conversation, and yeah, like I think it just clicked in that moment. It was just like, this is who he is. He's not going to change. And like, are you willing to accept that for the rest of your life? And I wasn't. And I think I finally came to terms with it. And I was like, you know, as much as I love this person, as much as I really wanted this, and like I feel like I sacrificed a lot of myself for it, I knew that it was time to let it go. And it was hard. It was hard and it was painful. And I second guessed myself. I was insecure. I was worried about what other people would say. Other people, you know, would laugh and how they would like talk about me. I was worried about a lot of stuff. Like now I look back, I'm like, who cares what any of these people think about it? But back then it was a big deal and it was so important to me. But I had the courage to, you know, step away and just be like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. And if that means I'm alone, because I was telling myself, I'm like, all the good guys are gone now. All the type of guys I'm looking for, they're all married or they have girlfriends. And oh, it's just like, I was so wrong. I kid you not, like right after that, my husband and I, oh, and who's calling? My husband, about it. And we ended up talking because we weren't talking during that time. That's its own story and drama, but him and I were not talking at the time. And we ended up talking and just like kind of sharing like what had been going on. I don't think we had talked in like a year or so. So we were kind of sharing like what was going on in our lives and what had happened to us, and like just, I don't know, it just was perfect. It was perfect timing. And I remember we spent like hours on the phone, and he like took me like on another first date, like because we had gone on dates before, but it was like our first date since like being friends again. Like came to my house with flowers. It was just like a big thing. And like he's always been that guy. He's very like he is very affectionate and very doting, and like, you know, gifts and affectionate, and he's just like always been like such a sweet romantic guy. And like I said, we went on that first date, and then I had a trip planned. It was right around my birthday actually when all this happened. I had a trip planned, and me and my friends, we were all going to Puerto Rico. He ended up surprising me, him and my sister, and flew out to Puerto Rico. And from there, I feel like my fairy tale just kind of took off, and I'm still living it, honestly. Um, he flew to Puerto Rico with my little sister, my best friend. They both surprised me, and they flew out. They were on the balcony, and um, you know, he just really, he wanted to show me that he was completely committed and completely in it if I wasn't, you know, if I was willing to be in it too. I remember a few months later, we went on a date to this Italian restaurant. It's like a place that we go actually all the time for like special occasions like anniversaries and stuff. And after that, he took me to like one of my favorite places. He ended up proposing to me there too, but he took me there, and he like climbed up on this like pillar and was like, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And like it was just, but it was really romantic and sweet. And he like got me this really beautiful necklace. And like I said, it's really been a fairy tale every day since. I'm not gonna pretend like it hasn't, we don't have hard times, or like we don't argue, or like we don't get along, or like we always get along, but because we don't. But you know, sometimes I just sit and think, I'm like, wow, like there's a version of me who believed that this didn't exist and like I couldn't get this from anyone. And every day, I mean, he still, we're married, still surprises me with flowers, gifts, trips, is very affectionate, it's very affirming. You know, he makes me feel like I am the sexiest woman alive. And that feels good. I feel like my partner is proud to be with me. I feel like, you know, it just feels good to be in a relationship where the things that I wanted and I asked for, I get them. And not in a way of like, oh, whatever I want, you get it for me. But in a way of like, you care enough about me to like, you know, love me the way that makes me feel loved. I know what it feels like to be with someone and you want them to do the things that you know, make you feel loved and that you would want, and they're unwilling to do it. And I am here to, you know, further testify that if you're asking someone for something and they're telling, like they're just not giving it to you, or they're saying you're asking for too much, you are asking the wrong person. And there is someone out there who is going to, and who is willing to, and probably waiting to give you everything that you're asking for. You just have to be brave enough to, you know, walk away. And it can be hard. It can be so tough because, you know, there's so many circumstances. I mean, for me, I had been so invested into it for years, and I was so afraid of what people would say about me, how, you know, how I would look. And when I decided that that didn't matter, that how I felt mattered, it's like everything fell into place. All that to say, if you're in a situation where, you know, you feel like you're asking your partner for something and they're not giving it to you, I see you and I hear you, and I've been there. Not to say, you know, if you talk to your partner and you said, hey, I want you to do this one time, and like they haven't done it, like walk away. But like in my case, you know, like how my partner was like, oh, you know, I'm never going to do this. I'm not going to be this person. That is like cause to walk away. That is like actually screaming at you to walk away. I feel like honestly, that's what he was saying, like walk away from me. So, but definitely case by case, everybody's story is different. I just wanted to share my experience, and also, I mean, I love love, and I love seeing people get the love that they want and deserve. And so I wanted to share that I too have had that experience, and I am very grateful that I walked away. So thank you so much for watching. It was actually really nice to share this and talk a little bit about this. If you enjoyed it, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting more content very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.